Good morning once again, FCF. It is day 2 of our 8-day journey where we're looking at the subject of failure. What I said in the beginning is that failure is something we have to understand. We have to understand the dynamics of failure because failure can paralyze us. Some of us are so afraid of failure and the embarrassment and the humiliation and the fear of rejection that we think it's going to bring that we just don't try anything. And God insists that we jump in and we try to do those things that initially are impossible. Did you hear what I just said? God calls us to try things that are initially impossible. And if we trust Him and we keep trying them, even when we fail, the thing that was initially impossible becomes not only possible, it becomes easy. It becomes not only easy, it becomes a part of our character. This is a developmental cycle in any realm you want to look at it. You can look at it whether it's in the field of education or learning an instrument or running a marathon. You start off doing anything poorly or not able to do it at all. But if you continue at it, if you practice with an eye to improvement because your value system is sincere, you count this as worthy of your effort, eventually we grow. But failure has to be built into it. It's just our human condition. Since we are a part of a fallen species, a fallen race, our father, Adam and Eve, they put us in a circumstance that has limited our ability for success. We have to move towards success. We don't start off, hit the ground with success. By the way, don't get angry at Adam and Eve because Adam and Eve are you and I at our best, in the best circumstances. We would have done the exact same thing that they did. They are our pure representatives. All right, let me read you a verse from Proverbs 28:13 about failure. And it is one that we need to have a good grip on as we walk with Christ. Proverbs 28:13, it says, "He who conceals his sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces them finds mercy." Let me read it again. "He who conceals his sin does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces them finds mercy." In the book of 1 John 1:9 in the New Testament, it says almost the same thing, slightly different. It says, "If we confess our sins, He's faithful and just to forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness." That 1 John 1:9, it gives us a picture of a process. The process is as I become aware something is a sin, it's not aligning with God's perfect will and design, I confess it. I've fallen short. I haven't lived the way you designed me to live. It says if we confess that sin, God forgives us, but He doesn't just forgive us. It says He goes on to cleanse us. It is a process. It is the process that God intends for us to cooperate Him. Proverbs says it a little differently. It says, "He who conceals the sin," meaning that we're not going to acknowledge that we failed. We're not going to acknowledge that we fall short. We're not going to seek God's forgiveness. We're not going to say that we have not lived to the standard that He designed us to live to. "He who conceals his sins does not prosper." We're never going to grow that way. We're never going to get further. "But whoever confesses," here we have it again, "and renounces them finds mercy." And the idea of confession we have in 1 John 1:9, but renounces them, it's the notion that we are sincere in this business. We're not, as I said in the very first talk, we're not planning on failing. We're planning on succeeding, but we find that there are habits sometimes rooted in us. There are automatic response patterns that are so rooted in us that it takes a process of time, and the process involves failure. You'll hear me say things like 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. That cycle is not altogether foreign for true Christian development. It challenges us to stay humble, to stay trusting in God, to stay believing that what He says we can do, we ultimately will be able to do, albeit sometimes we are failing forward in our Christian development. So if we falter, if we sin, confess and renounce it, and God says we'll benefit, we'll prosper. Your